Hey friends, Rob here. Today I want to talk to you about recording with NDI cameras and YoloBOX Ultra. I also want to talk a little bit about the audio process, audio follows video, and share with you some neat examples and what I've used it for, and even a cool business opportunity you might not even know about how you could use this gear to approach law enforcement or first responders for their confidential or secure training needs that they need to do. But first, let's actually move back over here. I'm just running YoloBOX Ultra out to my computer so that you can recognize everything you see on the screen is a real physical screen being recorded by my main camera right here. So some of the colors may not be as accurate. I get asked that question quite a bit. Also know I'm trying to move on some different cameras so you might see some weird angles. But let's first show the different angles we've got. We've got angle 1, which is NDI 1, from there, we've got NDI 2, which is over here. You can see my main camera that I'm using. We've got NDI 3, which is this little guy down here. And then, of course, we've got HDMI 1, which is me, which is this camera, and the video that I want to show you and talk to you about with everything. So I'm going to start here. First of all, I use the little Ozbot tail air cameras because I don't have any NDI cameras from YoloBOX or YoloLive, but I do know that they have a Micro Four Thirds version. And I just set the 3 cameras up on my Wi-Fi network. We'll talk about latency in a moment, and just told it to automatically switch between the cameras, which it did very well, as you can see. So moving back from there, let's talk a little bit about latency and setup. I've used the Wi-Fi NDI capability on YoloBOX with the Ozbot tail airs, and I have different levels of success with it. What I have found is that 5G Wi-Fi signal on at least Wi-Fi 6 service and within a range not on a repeater seems to work very well, specific if you're the only source or user on that network, which means if you bring your own Wi-Fi router for yourself, especially for recordings that you might be recording locally in monitor mode rather than trying to stream, that's going to work well for you. Things like the little Wi-Fi hotspots, like the Netgear Nighthawk, the little ones, or whatever the AT&T or Verizon has, they may work well for you trying to stream, but the minute you try to do NDI with them, they may not have at least the speed that's necessary. I've also found that you need at least 1 gigabit connection in the WLAN, wide LAN area in order for them to work well. When that happens, you get latency that looks just as quick as switching. Now, I may not have told you a moment ago, but I've been doing a lot of work with podcasts lately, and YoloDeck has become my absolute go-to. If you look over here, you'll see the screen. So we're going from 1, and we're just switching just as easily as it is back there. You can see camera 2, there I am. And we can even see that it's switching between the different media that I have, and then of course back to the main camera right there. It makes it simple to start, stop recording, switch cameras, turn on and off. Any function that you can turn on and off on YoloBOX, you can do it with YoloDeck, and it just makes podcasting about as simple as it can get. Let's take a look at these little cameras for you. I'm sliding around over here. When I talk about the Ozbot tail air cameras, they're AI cameras. Right now it's doing something. It needs me to give it a gesture. And it does happen to have a remote control that can work them. However, I forgot to charge this before everything. And so right now, or maybe I got it. Let's go to, yeah, there it is. Perfect. It's working. I didn't. I just had it turned off. In any event, as you can see, it has some intelligent features that'll look around, it'll track and follow a subject. It also has some great features built in. This is a small sensor camera. I believe it's 1/2.5, or it's a smaller sensor. Don't quote me on that. Look at the website on Ozbot. Use my link below, and you'll see. But they've got some really smart anti-image noise algorithms and anti-audio noise algorithms that work great. So I'm excited to say I love using it because the image just looks wonderful. It would be nice if they had a zoom version of this, but currently the Tail Air 2 is all they've got, and they've got the tiny tail. I love them. They're just so small. They're battery operated, as you see. No wires with NDI. I can put them wherever I want, and it's the one reason that I say a camera like this works so well with YoloBOX Ultra, because with your graphics and everything that YoloBOX Ultra can do, from your audio monitoring, from background music, scoreboards, switching cameras, but more importantly, all of the different types of image overlays that you can create and manage, using images that you import and then overlays that you do on top of here. You could go into those first responder situations who have trainings that they need to put out to their entire department, set up your 3 cameras and manage it all wirelessly from YoloBOX. And you could have one camera set to follow AI, follow the presenter, another camera to be a detail shot on the camera, and then another camera to be a wide shot of the entire class. And now you've got 3 cameramen working as intelligent camera operators for you on YoloBOX while you're recording internally with logos, overlays, and a full audio suite, so you've got good sound that by the end of the seminar or the training that they do, you can give to them as a polished, deliverable product. Yeah. That's the big tip that I've got for you. If you've got YoloBOX, you can do trainings and seminars, and even for first responders, especially if they want stuff that doesn't get out, that doesn't be streamed, but has disseminated within their organization or cross-organization. This works great. Anyway, from there, I want to talk a little bit about the audio setup of all of this. We got to make the audio work right, and by doing that, we have to think about this. Currently, we use one source of audio. Let me show you right now. All the different cameras are picking up different audio signals. You can kind of see it right here. The gray signals means that the camera is reporting signal to YoloBOX, but it is not sending signal to the program. The program is the screen that you see right there. Right now, we've got HDMI 1 turned on, and HDMI 1 is this camera right here. Now, the way that I usually suggest using HDMI 1 is to send all of your audio properly set to its proper levels, send it to one camera or camcorder, and then send that audio to YoloBOX. Whatever signal you plug into, or whatever spot you plug the HDMI into, you will have the ability to turn on the HDMI input, and that's what I've done here. Now, we also have these new volume meters, which are segmented and calibrated, and I love it because I'm calibrated to about -12 to -18 decibels, and you'll see that on my HDMI 1, I can see that. I can verify on my LCD screen on my camcorder, and I can verify it here. We also have a range of up to a +13 decibels, and we can reduce to -45 decibels the amount of signal that we get out there, so we can adjust the gain as necessary. I want to talk to you a little bit about latency. You don't usually have latency issues when you run the way I'm talking about through a camera into HDMI because of the clock speeds, which I've talked a lot about in my audio for video masterclass that you can find on my website. I'm not going to go into that right now. What I am going to say is if you do happen to have some audio latency, just turn on the delay button. By turning on the delay, we can come over here and choose up to 420 milliseconds of delay, which is basically a little bit less than half of a second. That should be more than enough on your different inputs to be able to adjust them properly. So the audio latency, not a big deal in professional systems like YoloBOX. Now, let's talk about something else. There's another way that you could actually do your audio, and that's called audio follows video. There are some caveats, and I'll let you hear them as we go through. So first of all, I've got audio follows video off on all of them, and HDMI 1 audio is on. So watch what happens when I turn audio follows video on. Watch the little red dot for all of them. While I'm on my HDMI 1 camera angle, nothing happens because audio follows video. But if I switch, now you'll see the NDI 1 has lit up green. Okay, and by NDI 1 lighting up green, you might have even heard a difference in the noise. Now, I've actually included, sorry about that, guy. It doesn't want to help me right now. Okay, so I've actually included a microphone. Check 1, 2, 3. You can hear, we can plug a microphone directly into the Ozbot Taylor camera. And with a mic, it does sound better, but you're still going to get that echoey room tone sound the further that mic gets away, which is going to be something like you're going to hear here. Check 1, 2, 3. That's the way it goes, as you can see. And over here, it's going to sound a little bit better. So as we're looking there, we can see we've got our NDI 3 and our NDI 3 camera, and it looks a lot better. But you still have all of those same options for choosing a different or a level set. We can still set the levels on all those options. But the most important thing that we want to think about is why we would use this. If you want to use audio follows video and you have it set to multiple cameras and you're in a podcast situation, the minute that you switch off the audio to someone else, right, then it's going to sound different. So if you're trying to switch an angle in order to show an audio reaction, it will sound different. You do that by setting all of your audio up ahead of time to sound great per person, but as you switch, that input source will change, which means that the other angle won't have the person talking in front of it. The way you fix that is by having an additional one extra angle that's wide, that shows the entire group, that has all of the microphones activated. Most of the time when you do things this way, you won't have the ability to do any type of signal processing on the device, yet you can do some signal chain processing with the Ozbot tail airs because they have noise reduction, which is very helpful, and gain function that can be built in, and you have the ability to choose whether it uses the on-camera MEMS microphone. I believe it's a MEMS microphone, but it might be a PCM microphone or whatever you connect to it. Now, this is great. If you use things like wireless mics, you could plug into each one of them and plug the mic like a lavalier style mic and call it a day, like a Rode Wireless Go Pro. But there is always going to be that chance that if you don't set things up properly, you will have strange sounds as you switch angles. So the benefit that you get with audio follows video is it's quicker to get a podcast set up and running because the audio follows the multiple angles. What's more difficult with it is if you're not careful, you will have strange ambient sounds that don't sound good on your podcast, and your podcast needs good sound. More importantly, what you could do is run all of your signal into one wireless device, or not wireless, but one audio device, kind of like I suggest, and then run that into YoloBOX. If you had the Tascam Model 12, which has 12 inputs because you had 12 guests, you could very simply put an audio gate on each one of those channels, which would mean that all of them could be active at the same time, but none of them would be active if the microphone was not picking up a signal of a specific strength, which meant that the speaker's mic could still be active and you could switch between all of the different cameras with that audio gate on. And if someone did laugh or have a comment, even while you were switching around other cameras, even if they weren't the active camera at the time, you would still hear what they have to say properly blended. This takes more time. It sounds a lot better. It saves you time in post-production. The choice is yours to make. Have I been using audio follows video more for my podcast production? Absolutely. Will I use it forever in the future? I don't know, but I'm warming up to it, especially with how it's implemented on YoloBOX Ultra. Guys, I'm Rob. I hope you have found this helpful. If you have, use the links down in the comments below. Don't forget to let me know what you think. Go ahead and send me a cup of coffee over on PayPal. And I want to thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Bye for now.